Good morning, I'm here in Emden. For those who don't know me, my name is Martin and I'm here on board of my Jambo, a Bavaria 34 holiday. At the moment I'm upgrading a little bit because last year I crossed the Atlantic from Europe to the Caribbean Sea and went back over the Atlantic, and I could gain a lot of experience, and I found out what I'm really missing here on board. One of those systems I would like to install is a Watermaker. Obviously there are various options on the market. Some are more compact and in one unit, which have a certain charm, and then others are more modular. That means you have the different components not in one unit and can place it where you have the space, which is probably more in favor for Jambo, and that's what I have decided for. So this is a little overview. Sorry, description are in German, but I will explain. So here's a seawater supply, the valve, and then here's another valve, but we look at that later on. And then the water goes that direction to a little pump, and then it goes through a filter system. And afterwards is a high pressure pump, and then it's pressing the water through a membrane, and in this membrane you press fresh water out, which is going through here, and then this means salt water, so the even more salty water is going here, and then we have a manometer and some other valves here, and then it goes here overboard. Here you have the possibility obviously to measure the flow. Here also that is a flow measure gauge for the salty water, and here for the fresh water. And then you have a distribution terminal, a small one, and then you can decide if it goes overboard or here for the test, or if it goes into the inboard tank. And then you also have this one here that is necessary for flushing the system and also for conserving it. That's how it looks. Yeah, in principle all fairly easy and straightforward. The devil is always in the details. So, but before I start installing it here, and that is not done in one day, it will take me several days to get it done, we have a look at the components. I laid out most of the components, or let's say the most important components. I bought the complete set from Rainer Hasse. He is putting it together and also selling it. I put the link to his website in the video description. So here's the water pump which we have seen, and after the water pump is the filter system, and then here we see the different filters which go into here, and then the high pressure pump. So that is a Kercher high pressure cleaner, because it is a reasonably priced solution for a high pressure pump. So that is doing 110 bars and about 5 to 6 liters per minute. So that means obviously I need 220 volts on board, which I usually have. So I have this inverter with 3000 watts. And then afterwards the water flows through those pipes here, high pressure pipes, and inside is a membrane. So one of them, so actually I've decided here for 2 membranes which will be put behind. So they're not put parallel, because that would not be enough water supply by the Kercher, but if I put them one after the other, that's doable. And then a few hoses here, that's plenty of more hoses necessary obviously. So a few smaller components here, and this is the gauge to measure how much water is flowing. Actually 2, one for the salty water and one here for the fresh water. Then obviously some valves. Here's a little distribution terminal as we have seen. Yeah, and here's the pressure gauge, and here's a safety valve which I can put in and at the right pressure. And this one here is a needle valve, and this is needed to set up the system with the right pressure. Yeah, that's basically what it is. Yeah, the Kercher is, I mean, it's good from a pricing standpoint, because you get for under 100 euros, you get a high pressure pump, 110 bars and 5 to 6 liters. That's good, but on the other hand, it has installed power of 1400 watts. So that means if I'm switching that on, we have almost 120 amperes running here. Let's have a look where I will put everything. I'm intending to put all those components to control the system here on one board. So the mounting plate for the control panel is already here assembled, so I can take it off and then I can put the different bits and pieces on. I'm now going to install the high pressure pipes for the membranes. So those two here, I think they should fit in here next to the hot water boiler, but you never know completely. So yeah, but I'm fairly optimistic, let's put it this way. So I got them squeezed in. I think it's a nice place for them. Next step is installing the pump here and also the little filter system. So I want to squeeze it in here. It's not ideal because I have all the electrics and electronics sitting here. So what I will do is I will separate both areas with a rubber mat. That should be sufficient. Let's see. Yeah, the filters, 50 micron, 20 micron and 5 micron. They can be put into the filter system now here. So the float direction is from here to there. That means 50 here, 20 in the middle and 5 at the end. I'm carrying on with hoses and cables. So which hoses do I have to install? I would like to put the Kercher at the stern. That means I need the water supply for the Kercher, the low pressure side, and then obviously from the Kercher the high pressure side is coming, which goes to the high pressure pipes, which I need to put the membranes in later on. And then I will produce fresh water, hopefully. Now I'm convinced that it will work. And that should go into the inboard water tank. I have a possibility at the stern as well to cut a hose and make an epsilon piece in and put it in there. And then also the wastewater, so the more salty water, needs to go overboard as well. And I have a possibility to do that at the stern as well. So those are the 3 low pressure hoses and 1 high pressure hose. So yeah, let's see. Yeah, that's how it is here. A stern with a rudder shaft is not much space. So I'm actually not made for that. So I would need to be slim and a rubber type guy who can creep here through those difficult areas. And always the glasses are not clear. Oh, phew. But I'm glad that I'm ready here. Important milestone. Got everything finished here, and we will have a look what I have done here in a moment. Kercher is sitting here. So strongly mounted here, but not too strong, so it's sitting in this yeah, plastic foam, so it can vibrate during operations. That's fine. So we see all the hoses here. This one here is for the salty water, the waste. This one is a supply, low pressure supply for the Kercher, and here is a supply of the fresh water which goes into the inboard tank. Yeah, couldn't find the right piece here, so missed the biceps, so I had to improvise a little bit. But okay, should work. Yeah, there's a little room, a stern. Yeah, all the hoses I will tie together, and but I do that at the end when I know everything is working. Yeah. So yeah, here's a blue high pressure hose, which later on will go into this high pressure pipe when the membrane is in. And here we see the electrical power cable for the Kercher. So I will start preparing that as well. I will put a little junction box over there. And here are the three hoses. There's the green one for the waste with the white tape for the fresh water, and the other one is going into here, so I can prepare that here as well. Yeah, looks alright. So I pulled through those hoses here. So I also have prepared this board, the control board, which I will fit and assemble during the next days. So I need to be very careful here that they run freely and not in touch here with some of the hot pieces of the engine here. So actually it's raining here in Emden. It's a very wet month this year. Let's have a look on the overview where we are at the moment and what's outstanding. The low pressure pump is installed. Yeah, the three filters, high pressure pump. The high pressure pipes to hose the membranes are in, but without the membranes and also not connected yet. Yeah, this one is installed. This one needs to be connected. And also the hose to the tank is ready. So what's missing? Yeah, obviously here's a access to the sea, getting the seawater in, and also this valve. And yeah, and also here this little pipe here. And then all of those here, as we can see, so all the gauges and the valves and the manometer, and that's what I'm going to do now. That's how it looks. So the hoses we have seen, then some cables here, so electrics are almost prepared. Here's a seawater access for the engine cooling, so that's coming from here and goes down to the sail drive. I will cut this hose and put this valve in there, so that means if the engine is running, it's in that position, and if I'm making water, it's in that position. Actually, I haven't found this as a recommended solution, so I'm pretty sure it will work, but obviously I cannot operate the Watermaker and have the engine running at the same moment in time, because both require the seawater. On the other hand, I didn't want to drill another hole into the hull, and if this solution doesn't work, I still have the option of drilling a hole. So somewhere in Portugal I can take the boat out of the water, which I'm intending to do anyway, and then I would change that. Yeah, now I'm working on the control board. Let's see. So that's all wired now. So let's do the first test and put the main fuse in. So that's good. So let's check the low pressure pump running, the Kircher running as well. So what I will do now is a pressure test. So I put normal water into the system, but I have it running or floating through this active coal filter to filter out the chlorine. Water is floating. So the first filter gets filled. So I switched on the low pressure pump. Okay, the membrane is not in, so that's running. So all good. So here's a leakage. Okay, that can be easily fixed, but then I also need to check the backside. But principle, the test was successful. That was a successful test, pressure test. So I used normal drinking water from the tap, and I put a filter in between and just show you what this filter is filtering. It takes out chlorine and chlorine byproducts, heavy metals, dyes, organic hydrocarbons, microplastic, limescale, bacteria, pollution deposits from cover pipe, hormone and medication free. Yeah, that's important because the membranes don't like chlorines and want to prevent that the system gets contaminated with chlorine. So apart from that, there was a little leakage at the high pressure hose, which can be easily fixed. The rest was okay. Also astern, everything was good. So I've ordered a little bit more material because I would like to change some of the hoses at the control board. Also ordered a little fuse box, and then I can put the fuses in there. That's a little bit better, and then I will finalize wiring. And then also I ordered a couple of non-return valves for the salty water hose and also for the freshwater hose to make sure that there's no water coming back. Yeah, everything good so far. Yeah, now I will finalize the project. I have bad luck, so this valve is not okay. So it's seeking air through here. Already spoken with Rainer, and he's sending me a new one. So remove both pipes to insert the membranes. Already marked them with 1 and 2 because high pressure is coming from here, going through that membrane, and then coming from here and going through here. So for that I have to remove those caps here and put the seals in. So then afterwards I will connect the high pressure pipes and then put the blind props in here, and then we'll collect the fresh water here and then put an epsilon piece in and get it to the board. So that's the plan. Here's something for the mounting as well, and here's a seal which goes into here. membrane is in this pipe. Yeah, that's how the membrane looks. This side without a seal, and this side with a seal. And the side without the seal goes in here. The pressure is coming from here, and then it goes into this holding down here, which we just inserted. Yeah, that's how it looks. Obviously protected with gloves and also glasses. Yeah, super. First one is ready. Oh, super. So I'm now checking the particles in the water. This one is from the tap. Yeah, about 220 parts per million. This one is sparkling water. Yeah, about 110 parts per million. And this one is here from the harbor. So that's about 3,300 parts per million. System is running. So the board is finalized now, so electric's ready here. So I'm running it a bit carefully, so just 20 bars. And we see 2.5 liters per minute here. That is salty water going overboard, and 1.5 liters almost, which is the fresh water. So the system is running. Let's test the water, at least the particles. .27 parts per million, so that's the water coming out of the Watermaker. And the reference, so this is the water getting in. Measured that before. .3,366. So I would say it's running. I'm filling up 20 liters of the gained water to flush the system afterwards. Now I'm flushing the system. I've successfully installed the Watermaker. You're very happy at the end after all the efforts if it really works. So we had a successful test today with this harbor water. Yeah, actually I'm at the beginning of the learning curve, making my own water. I will show what I will do. I will make my first water at sea when I do my first cruise, and then let's see what kind of water quality I can gain. Yeah, now I'm starting with the next project, the Electrical Windlass. That's the last one of the 3 major projects, plenty of other things to do. So yeah, let's have a look at that and see you in the next video.